Rani Lakshmibai, the courageous Queen of Jhansi, was a fearless leader during the Indian Rebellion of 1857 against British colonial rule. She was born in 1828, trained in martial arts and firearms, and honed her horseback riding and archery skills. After her husband's death, she assumed the reins of power and prepared her kingdom to resist British forces. She refused to submit when the British landed in Jhansi in 1858, dressing as a man and commanding her forces into war. She bravely fought despite the overwhelming odds, becoming a representation of resistance. Lakshmibai persisted in resisting even after Jhansi was overthrown, encouraging others to support her cause. Sadly, she was killed in action in June 1858. Queen of the Palmyrene Empire in the Eastern Roman Empire, which included parts of modern-day Syria, Jordan, and Egypt. Zenobia was a notable leader in the 3rd century AD. After her husband was murdered, she governed as her son's regent and increased the empire's power. With uncontrolled ambition, Zenobia launched an invasion of Egypt to establish her power as Queen Empress. With uncontrolled ambition, Zenobia launched an invasion of Egypt to establish her power as Queen Empress. The Roman Emperor aimed to recapture these areas. He overcame Zenobia's army in 272 AD. Her fate is still unknown after being captured close to the Euphrates. In 19th century Japan, Nakono Takeiko, 1847 to 1868, was a female samurai warrior. She was a skilled swordswoman and martial artist who participated in the Boshin War. She led an all-female squad in the Battle of Aizu and exhibited extraordinary bravery. She was fatally injured even though she dealt the enemy severe casualties. She begged her sister to cut off her head before she died so that her body wouldn't be dishonored. Takeiko is remembered in Japanese history as a model of the bravery and commitment of women. Princess Kutulun of Mongolia, who lived from 1260 until 1306, was an expert warrior. She became well known for her outstanding skill in horseback riding and wrestling after challenging and thwarting numerous suitors in wrestling competitions. Kutulun's father, Kaidu, a well-known Mongol commander, is said to have given her hand in marriage to any man who could beat her in a wrestling match. Kutulun, on the other hand, managed to avoid defeat and gathered a big herd of horses as prize money. She will always be remembered in Mongolian history as a symbol of strength and freedom. As the chieftain Victorio's sister and a renowned Apache warrior in the 19th century, Lozan was recognized for her outstanding combat abilities and vision. She demonstrated extraordinary skill in riding, tracking, and marksmanship and was given the nickname Apache War Woman for her prophecies and visions. During the Apache Wars, the fiercely devoted Lozan battled alongside her brother Victorio Apache Chief to protect her people's way of life from the American army. Her reputation as a role model persists, standing for the courage and tenacity of indigenous women fighters. Vietnamese heroines Trung sisters, Trung Trac, and Trung Nhi spearheaded a massive uprising against Chinese authority in the 1st century AD. Their valor and leadership served as an example to a large-scale resistance movement, representing Vietnam's steadfast desire for independence. The sisters chose to commit themselves by drowning in a river, even though their rebellion was ultimately put down rather than risk being captured. In Vietnamese history and culture, the Trung sisters are still held in high esteem as national heroes. The amazing monarch Tamar of Georgia, often known as Queen Tamar, ruled from 1184 to 1213. She was crowned at age 18 and was born in 1160. Tamar's excellent military conquests and shrewd diplomacy allowed the Kingdom of Georgia to reach its greatest extent during her rule. Georgia was through a golden period of cultural and economic success during her reign. As Tamar the Great, Tamar is still regarded as one of the most illustrious and significant individuals in Georgian history thanks to her leadership and accomplishments. Ancient Greek historical figure Artemisia I of Caria was renowned for her strong leadership and naval strength. During the 5th century BC, she ruled as the Queen of Caria, an area in present-day Turkey. The only female commander in the Persian fleet, Artemisia was a significant player in the Greco-Persian Wars. Artemisia demonstrated extraordinary tactical prowess at the Battle of Salamis in 480 BC, impressing even her adversaries. She sensibly suggested a careful approach to the Persian king Xerxes, but he disregarded her advice. She remained loyal to the Persians, but she also showed independence by rejecting several choices that would have resulted in loss. Artemisia became a renowned and powerful leader due to her bravery and strategic intelligence. Her life has been preserved in historical sources, and she is still regarded as a fascinating and significant figure. Juana Azevedo Padilla, a gallant military leader in South America's struggle for the Declaration of Independence, was born in 1780 in modern-day Bolivia. She demonstrated bravery and tactical skill while in charge of native troops, becoming a representative of the struggle against Spanish colonial rule. Despite obstacles, her brave memory lives on as a national hero in Bolivia, motivating generations, particularly women, to question social norms and make a contribution to the history of their homeland. During the 16th century, Amina of Zazao, also known as Queen Amina, was a famous warrior queen who ruled over the kingdom of Zazao, Zoria, in modern-day Nigeria, with a standing for extraordinary military prowess and strategic genius. Queen Amina was highly respected by her people and the neighboring tribes for her bravery in war and ability to rule. Under her leadership, Zazao developed into a strong and affluent kingdom. Her reign had a lasting effect on the area, and she is still revered in African history and culture for her legacy of female leadership. A renowned warrior and leader known as Nanny of the Maroons existed in Jamaica during the 17th and 18th centuries. She was born in West Africa while a slave, managed to escape, and started what is now known as the Maroon villages in the wild and isolated areas of Jamaica. Nanny was a deadly enemy to the British Army because of her outstanding battlefield skills and leadership abilities. She successfully commanded the Maroons in guerrilla warfare, as they battled British colonization and successfully defended their independence. Nanny of the Maroons is still revered in Jamaican history and culture as a figure of liberation and resistance. Her courage, tenacity, and significant contributions to the struggle for her people's liberation and justice are honored by her legacy. During the 16th century, Ctwa Kembang was a renowned warrior princess from the Malay archipelago. She is a well-known character in Indonesian folklore and history tales and is renowned for both her great beauty and fortitude. Ctwa Kembang was revered as the head of Pasai, a former kingdom in what is now Aceh, Indonesia, for her military prowess and leadership. Her life has been transformed into a fascinating tale of bravery and heroism, inspiring generations around the area. She was a representation of strength and wisdom. In the 16th century, Rani Abaka Chauta was a brave and powerful ruler of the territory of Ulul in what is now Karnataka, India. She aggressively battled Portuguese colonialism along India's southwest coast, and was renowned for her outstanding leadership and military capabilities. In multiple successful wars against the Portuguese, Abaka oversaw her kingdom's naval forces, garnering her the title Abaya Rani, which roughly translates to Fearless Queen. She became a famous character in Indian history and a representation of bravery and freedom thanks to her unyielding resistance and cunning strategic planning.